All right. We should have started streaming, but we'll see how this one goes. So I've got a brand new streaming setup. I've got overlays coming in so I can actually see the chat live. I've got OBS in the background as well, and I can do some really cool, funky things with that. Fingers crossed this all works. Let me just check one thing here. Yeah, this one's not set up just yet. There we go. Let me just change this screen size a little bit. There we go. A little bit better. So fingers crossed this all works as expected. Now I'll just check the live stream in the background as well. Now we're going to talk about a couple of things this episode. I've got a whole bunch of news updates like we normally do. But I've also got this extra stuff around the bots, the bot drama that happened on the weekend, and also a little bit of the SEC side of things. So we can get into that and find out exactly what's been going on. But if you're checking in on the live stream, let me know. GM, good morning. Thank you for being here. Yeah, okay. So I think the audio is all good. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Just confirm that you guys are all good there too. Yes, yes, we are live. Now, I think people, let me just test this chat prompt thing. It's all coming up on screen now. I've been doing a lot of research back into the live streaming side of things and what people are actually doing, and so some of these live chats features are pretty good. Cool, all these overlays. All right, Bob Builder, thank you. Thumbs up there. I guess that delay finally has kicked in. Stream is good. All right, let's get into this stuff. Now, this extra cool thing on the overlay, I'm not asking you guys to, but like if you give a super thanks or become a channel membership, it should appear up on the screen as well. That's a brand new feature that I've been playing around with, and I haven't tested it myself. I need to sign up with another account, and it might actually work. But I'm all ready to go here. Let me switch over to the side thing. Now, I did get one new member last live stream, American Pipeliner. You've been a subscriber of the channel for a long time, so thank you for becoming a member as well and buying me a coffee. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Really helps with keeping the content going and everything else around it. All right, so let's get into the dramas, all these beautiful dramas. And let me just shrink this chat down a little bit. It's just covering my face. Chat overlay, I'll just pull this down. It's not really live. Like, I can see you guys chatting, but it's not really coming up. All right, we'll sort that out later maybe. There we go. All right. So first thing, the bot drama over the weekend. Now, if you're not in the meme coin space, you probably didn't hear about this, but there was a particular meme coin that was launched on the weekend. I can't say it because I will be censored by YouTube, but you can see it there. The Rooster coin ADA, I'll call it, reference it as that. Launched on the weekend with quite a bit of liquidity, and there were bots that were sniping the transactions through on MinSwap in particular. And they managed to make quite a bit of a profit. I think this thread here by CoinSpot explains it quite well. And this is how I saw it as the drama was unfolding. Over the weekend, I usually turn social media off and I don't really follow all this stuff. But, I was just watching on the sidelines, and, by the time it all settled on Monday, it was pretty much all over. But this is a little bit of an overview according to CoinSpot. Let me just zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. So first off, the big supply of Rooster coin ADA provided, so 600K ADA for 50% of its supply was added to MinSwap with 400K and 40% remaining of the supply. So whales use bots to get their transactions in faster and sell it for higher. Did anyone participate in this? If you did, I'm sorry that you were affected by this. I'm assuming you're affected by this unless you were one of the botters. I stay away from these meme coins just because of these things. There's always someone that knows something or can interact better, faster, has the skills to do these transactions and trades better than yourself. And, you know, this stuff happens. Just checking the comments. Yeah, thanks, Simon. Yeah, the beard's getting quite hefty there. I have to manscape it, I think. So anyway, the bots managed to get in on the transactions, and there were a couple of prominent members in the Cardano community that actually managed to do that. So how did the bots get in faster? So let's understand the chain of events. So this is the process, and I'll try and break it down for you guys that don't quite understand it. So first off, these bots will have to find a liquidity pool. So when MinSwap put together a pool on their DEX, there's a hash for that particular one, so that when you're building a transaction, you can say, that's the pool that I want to interact with. And that only becomes available once MinSwap make it publicly available. You can scan the chain for it, and this is exactly what they did. So when you're building a transaction for it, you have to know the liquidity pool that you're interacting with, build the transactions, and then spit out all of those transactions to all of the nodes on the network. And this is something I have experience with, like pushing out transactions to various nodes. So first off, they had to find the pool. So MinSwap kept it a secret, as they should, until the launch of the actual pool. So they would have done it at the very last moment as well. However, the bots can check the Rooster Coins team wallet, and they can see the transactions. So they can actually pull up their wallets. They can see where all of the particular token is being created, find the wallet, and see what's going on. So that's it there. So they can find that transaction, see where it's going, and then start building the transactions around it. So a bot running its node could find the pool before it goes on chain from the mempool. So if for those that don't understand, when you're submitting a transaction, it goes into a pool, a memory pool, before it actually goes on chain. So that memory pool is accessible by anyone. You can read what's in that mempool and then scan it, scan for what you want. In this particular instance, the liquidity pool that was going to be traded, they found it, and then they submitted their transaction based on how the transactions are written at the same time into that block. So as soon as they saw it, it was like, bang, there it is. Let's submit a block, a transaction for it, spam that across the network, and then get their transaction in with that particular submission of that pool. So it's very, very quick in regards to how you can do this, and it's quite smart actually. But you know, this is all publicly available knowledge. So as a stake pool operator myself, I can see the mempool build up on my stake pool, and I can see what goes through it by doing some scans and queries against it. So anyone with that sort of level of technical skill can actually do that and find out what's going out on chain, and you can see things go out before they actually hit a particular block. Now the other thing is a lot of stake pool operators would try and push their transactions out. So this all happened back, I think, last year when drip drops came out. And we were trying to work out how to get the transactions out to the network as quickly as possible, and then like prioritize particular transactions based on what was coming through. So there was not so much manipulation, but optimization of what transactions go through. So if you're a particular node operator and you wanted only a particular transaction to go through, you know roughly that a smart contract transaction is a little bit bigger than a regular one, so you just prioritize those. So anything smaller than that, you know, you don't want, or anything bigger than that, you don't want. So you push them through, and by limiting the amount of mempool on your node. Now you can also connect to a lot of different stake pools in the Cardano ecosystem. So as a general guide, when a stake pool connects to the other nodes, it limits itself to about 20 different pools, and you can randomize this using the forgotten the name of the script, but there's a particular script that will do it for you, and it'll find active pools out there and connect to about another 20 or so. And that is a really good balance in terms of memory and pushing out the transactions. But you can boost that up and connect to like 150 or 200 different nodes in the network. So when you get a particular transaction and you want to push it out, you can push that out to 200 or so different nodes, and they'll push it out to another 200 or so nodes or whatever it is. And that will get your transaction out into the network as quickly as possible. So this was really prevalent back in, was it early 2021? I can't remember now the dates exactly. Must have been 2021. No, it's all a blur. all these years are a blur. But we're all trying to push those transactions out onto the network as quickly as possible. So there was a lot of spamming of transactions. So that's what is probably happening there as well. But anyway, they managed to get their orders out onto the block, this block here, 8855780, along with that the batch that was going up with the pool, and hence they managed to get in at the earliest price possible to get that order in and then sell it at a later date. Far out. So that all happened. Now let's go down a little bit further. So they built the transaction. A website is a centralized front end, an easy access point to the back end of smart contracts. Yeah, that's all MinSwap DEX is. All the smart contracts on the back end. Everything else you can do it yourself. You don't need their interface. For example, the MusliSwap team interact with the MinSwap smart contracts, and they aggregate their swaps there. So if you're using MusliSwap, you can use their DEX, and they find the best price possible, and it might be on MinSwap that you're doing a swap for. So anyone can build an interface for these. Once you know how the transactions are written and the pools, etc., you can write your own front-end DEX for someone else's smart contract. So you can easily do that. When I say easily, it's relative. Myself, I don't know how to do that. I could probably learn, but other people are very good at doing this kind of stuff. So libraries like Cardano Serialization Library and Lucid can allow you to build these transactions. They create the transactions and swap for ADA for Rooster. This helps users bypass the website and interact with the chain in a decentralized manner. So yeah, so that's exactly what we do with Cardano Press. We use the Cardano Serialization Library to build transactions. Now, we don't build it for interacting with a DEX or DEX smart contracts. We build it just to do a payment transaction itself. But, tools like this makes it life so much easier. And, as people build their skills around it, you do much more complex transactions from it, just as these guys did. Now, the bot then relayed the transactions to other. Yep. So that's exactly what it did. So this is a really good diagram, because a lot of people were actually contacting me recently around getting their transactions out faster. So I did a tutorial around using Daedalus as a node and then connecting your NAMI wallet to it. So you can connect your NAMI wallet to Daedalus and get your transactions out just that little bit faster, because wallets will use third-party services such as Blockfrost or Dandelion or all these other third-party servers to use their mempools and then push out the transactions. And their mempools may be queued up, may be backed up. So you find this in NFT mints and launches as well. So to bypass this third-party bottleneck here of Blockfrost or one of the other third-party platforms, you use your own node, or you can use a SMIT API from a stake pool operator like we do. So for example, delegates that come to our stake pool, they've got access to our own SMIT API, connects directly to our node. We spam that transaction out. So it gets your transaction out a lot faster. So this is exactly, I'm 100% sure what they did as well. So it gets your transaction out as fast as possible. Therefore, they could get their transaction out much faster, and with the combo of tracking the LP, building a transaction, and relaying it fast, the bot took advantage of the fact that the trusted components of DeFi stack like website and light nodes are slower. Yep, they sure are. Note, using CLI to bypass UI plus nodes to the relay itself is standard practice and recommended behavior. Sniping meme coins early allows them to sell later for much higher. However, this is ethical and legal concerns of market manipulation to be considered. And this is probably where the problem comes in. It wasn't so much of how they did it. Like, how they did it is perfectly fine. That's how arbitrages take advantage of opportunities. There's no way you can do an arbitrage between one DEX and another on a manual process. You will need to bot that process and do a swap from 10,000 ADA from one liquidity pool pair on one DEX to another, and there's no way you can do that unless you're using a bot and making those profits that way. You've got to be really fast. It's literally seconds that you have to do this. So every block time, like if you do a transaction in one block, you need to result it in another and get the profit in the next block. Whereas doing it manually, you take at least a couple of minutes, and the bots will get in front of you anyway. So you got to be really fast. So they said hopefully this all helps. Now let me just go to the next tabs here I have open. Just checking on the chat. Yep, morning Jesper, morning 56 Hope Road. Thanks for being here. Mark, thanks for being here as well. So this is a nice little thread from Pi. He echoes the same thoughts. So botting in general, yeah, okay, that's all pretty much straightforward. People using their own skills, talents to make profits for themselves. Yep, okay. But it's the ethical. In my mind, the problem is deeply and uniquely unethical combinations of behavior, and that's where a lot of people are being upset. Now, I don't know if this little chat bubble thing in the corner is working or not. That's all right. Spam the chat, guys. I want to see this thing work. Now, there's a lot of upset people in the community. So addressing here, this person, they added me at some point. I don't know where they did. I can't, yeah, probably somewhere in here. But they go on to talk about, yeah, a dev from JPEG Store enabling dumping on the community whilst also working for a marketplace is supposedly for the community. What a joke. Even better, Blake does not seem to care about this. Yeah, what they did is, perfectly fine in a decentralized environment. Like you can do whatever you want. The smart contracts are there. If you know the tech, you know the how to do it. Yep, sure, go for it. It's just how it is. It's bots exist. They are in TradeFi. They are in sexes as well, and also in the DeFi space. So it's all there. But yeah, it doesn't really look good in terms of the ethics side of things. And integrity in general, but that's where people are jumping up and down around at the moment. Now here, now this is probably going into a little bit more of the slightly unethical side of things. Let me just check the chat here. This is not the first time JPEG has been in hot water threatening competitors with SEC. Yeah, I've heard rumors and stuff about that. So it's not always good. Oh yeah, the chat is coming up. It's weird how this chat thing works on the overlay. Anyway, so this one here. Furthermore, Joraz knew he was going to bot the Rooster public launch beforehand, yet advised individuals in the Cardano Lounge server to utilize the new release unlimited slippage feature on the MinSwap DEX, most likely causing them to suffer disastrous losses. See below. Now, I put out a video to warn people about that unlimited slippage. You will lose your ADA, you will lose your crypto in this using unlimited slippage. It's pretty much unknown what will happen. So it's used with extreme caution. If you used it for this, expect to actually lose your assets. So, it's the unethical side here, which people are talking about, is the people that were using bots, encouraging people to use the unlimited slippage feature to get their transactions in, with them well knowing that they would have gotten their transaction in a lot earlier so they could dump on them later. So it's like encouraging people to give me their money first. So it's essentially that, or give the botter the money first. So if they knew the environment, what was going to happen, then it's just I guess unethical behavior. Yeah. Where was this thing? Here's a comment. Just use unlimited. The warning of losing 70% of a fund is relative. You're not losing funds. You're just getting less Rooster because the price has already moved. Yes, that is totally true. But this person also benefits because they got in early and could sell later at a high, dumping on you guys. So I do not want to be exit liquidity for anyone. I pretend to be, but I'm not buying into these meme coins. Never will. And I've got Hosky. I did that for fun, but I knew that wasn't going to go anywhere. All right, so Melon, the wise Melon. So this is one of the JPEG Store developers, from what I believe. Yep, Pretty Box's JPEG Store. So I don't know Melon. I don't interact with them. I don't know much about them either, but they're just stating what has happened and how they got into the smart contracts so early. So no exploits, no insider information, just purely bought on the open market based on their skills and technical expertise. And this is just a comment from Salabite. What's a hate with all these trading bots? They are everywhere in sexes, and now people are putting them to use on dexes, and it's not okay. Just another reminder, like a lot of the ecosystem is bots. So if it's not arbitrage bots, the batches that are used to process transactions, they're bots. There was a time, well, hopefully there is a time when a lot of that is decentralized and other operators can actually be a part of that batch ecosystem and run their bots. Liquid Finance has bots. ADA has bots to process liquidations on there as well. So there's no way that you can do this manually, sit there 24 hours a day. Bots are a part of the ecosystem. Automation is a part of the system. AI will be a part of DeFi as well, and you'll see a lot more of that coming up in the next year or two. As AI gets better as well, we're going to see more and more of this automation happening, and people that are just relying on basic trading and day trading manually are going to lose out. So you do have to bot the process. Even back in 2017, when I first got into crypto, the very first thing I did after experience buying and selling was starting to write a bot script. So myself and a couple of friends, we wrote our own trading bot script that connected with I think Bittrex or something. I can't remember. I didn't play around with it for long. But we're trying all these different algorithms using Bollinger Bands and RSI and moving averages and using combinations of all these different algorithms and indicators to try and make this bot work. It did okay. It doesn't work too well when the market dumps 20, 50%. But in general trading environments, it's quite nice. And bot trading is prevalent everywhere. That's why these sexes build these APIs for the bots. Anyway, any comments, guys? I think that's my last little bit on the bot side of things. I'd love to know your comments and what you guys think. Did you buy any of these meme coins and were affected by it? Let me know. And while I'm just going to give this a minute, I'm just going to turn on the fan here. It's getting rather hot. All right, where were we? So the next news story here, it's all around the SEC. Now, I'm assuming you guys have all caught up with this. All right, hang on, just got a question here. Sajanha, is the DEX for an ramp off ramp cash? I don't understand your question here. Is the DEX for on ramp, off ramp cash? Oh, right. Okay. No, a DEX is more so for trading various tokens and cryptocurrencies or meme coins, whatever it is, that aren't listed on centralized exchanges. So the interesting thing is, like, to get listed on a centralized exchange costs huge amounts of money. You have to pay the centralized exchange. I heard it really varies. But I heard from one particular founder that they paid up to $700,000 to get their token listed on various centralized exchanges. So it's a massive investment to get listed, and that is more of a on and off ramp of a particular token to fiat currency, to like USD, for example, and then you can exit out. So if you're buying a token and selling it on a centralized exchange, you can exit out. But with a decentralized exchange, you need to trade it for a stable coin of some sort. So you'd be trading ADA for USDT, or not USDT, but JED in the Cardano ecosystem, or IUSD, for example. And then from there, you can move that out or sell it or you actually have to sell it back for ADA at the moment and then sell it on a centralized exchange. So it's a little bit convoluted, but you do get exposure to the different tokens in a decentralized exchange in the ecosystem itself that don't exist in a centralized exchange. So that's the whole point of the a DEX itself. Plus, you yourself, if you want to launch something, you launch a token, you can do it via decentralized exchange, and you don't need permission. You don't need to pay the fees. So MinSwap, the token listing process is really quick and easy. You just go and create your token in the Cardano ecosystem. You get a policy ID. You go to a DEX like MinSwap, register the token, and that's it. You provide a little bit of liquidity, and that's your entry point. It's listed on the DEX. That's all you need to do. So it's a really straightforward process. Bob the Builder, is there an actual discussion to address the short-term congestion problem? It seems MinSwap and SundaeSwap haven't been able to handle recent traffic. Now, I haven't personally seen any of this congestion problem. Now, it really depends on the bottleneck that you're experiencing there, Bob. If you could like detail the bottleneck that you're experiencing, then I could probably tell you where you can bypass some of the things. But I was going to do a long video about this, and one of the bottlenecks, well, there's quite a few bottlenecks. One is the getting your transaction onto the chain. So when everyone is using Eternal and NAMI at the same time, so I think Eternal still use their own infrastructure. I don't think they're using Blockfrost from memory. So if you're using NAMI, your bottleneck is Blockfrost and their infrastructure. If you're using Eternal, it's their infrastructure there. So when a lot of people are using those two wallets, those two memory pools of Blockfrost and Eternal's memory pools on their nodes will get congested and that queues up. Some of Eternal's mempools can last up to 2-3 hours before a transaction will go through. So it's fine if you're just submitting a transaction and you're just transferring an asset from one wallet to another. But if you're interacting with an NFT launch, interacting with one of these meme coin launches or anything like that, you'd want your transaction to go in at a particular point in time. And that's when you need to use your own node, such as Daedalus. So I've got Daedalus synced on my computer and I can connect my NAMI wallet to it. I can connect my Eternal wallet to it. So that bypasses that bottleneck and I can get my transaction on chain a lot faster. I can submit my transaction directly to my node on my stake pool as well and get that spammed out quite quickly. So and it bypasses that bottleneck. The next one is actually getting your transaction onto the DEX itself. And this is where you play around with slippage. I did an article on it to get your change your slippage to get your transaction through. So when you look at MinSwap, for example, you can see all these orders that are queued, and they're queued because they've missed their buying point and transaction is out of the slippage range that you've set. If you set your transaction to unlimited, it will go through at any price point it is, but you could make a massive loss out of that, or just buy the token at a price where you're not expecting it because the price is so volatile. It might go up, might go down, whatever it is. If it goes down, then obviously you've purchased more than you were expecting, but if it goes up, then you get less. So it really is a game there that you need to play with the amount of slippage. So they're two bottlenecks that you need to interact with. But if you can bypass those bottlenecks, then you can get your transaction out a lot faster and actually get executed as well. But if you can elaborate a little bit more, I can talk about any other bottlenecks that you might be experiencing. Mark, automation is only going to get more sophisticated with AI. Can't compete with that. Know my limits. Yes, Mark, completely agree. We are going to see a lot more automation and a lot more automated trading. So a lot of, my strategy is just to buy and hold. If I find a project that I like and I think might do well in 5 years, I just buy a little bit and hold on to it and see what happens. So that's my thing. I don't trade anymore. That's why I don't do the trading bot anymore, because I really don't know what's happening. I can't follow it. There's so many things that happen, like this SEC thing, and then they released those case filings against Binance and Coinbase, and the market tanks 20%. Yeah, it wasn't that much, I think, but still, that's the whole thing. LM10 DEXs, have you looked into participating in Indigo? Yes, I have. And I started writing a course for it as well. So I think Indigo is one of those really interesting protocols that lets you gain a lot of different opportunities. So one, you can get your ADA and collateralize another synthetic asset such as USD. The ADA is still staked, so you still get your staking rewards, but you have a new synthetic asset, the IUSD. You then can take that IUSD to a different market, such as liquid finance, or over to MinSwap, for example, and then provide that collateral in a stable swap portfolio, and then or stable swap pair, and gain fees off that. So people are swapping between IUSD and JED, for example, they can swap in between the two and not experience much slippage or price impact. So lots of opportunities there, and that's just one scenario. There's multiple different scenarios that you can play around with in terms of Indigo to try and maximize your profits. I did a mention, I think it was Khalib, on my Twitter feed here. I might just pull that up. Let me just pull that real quick. It was in my bookmarks. This is how I do my research. So you get to see a lot of the stuff that I go through, and some of the news that I report on and some I don't. But a couple of weeks ago, or was it last week? I can't remember. There was this great Twitter post from Khalib, and he mentioned his bi-weekly, fortnightly process that he goes through with Indigo and everything that he does. And I thought this was absolutely insane. Here it is. So this is it here. So let me just pull up the slide. There we go. So Khalib, he goes through bi-weekly ritual, manage his collateralized debt position. So this is everything that is provide liquidity for and created assets for. Provide assets to stability pools, collect India rewards, stake the India rewards, claim ADA rewards from the protocol, and then continue earning normal staking rewards on top of that, like it's no big deal. So it's a continuous loop process. You're earning a little bit more Indy, you're earning a little bit more ADA, and you just keep on going through that process. And I mentioned here, it's not massive amounts of profits, but if you're using large amounts of liquidity, I guess you earn a bit more Indy, and you can actually gain some profits off that. So it's an interesting strategy for sure, what he's doing. But yeah, this comment here: accountants hate me come tax time. Yeah, amount of the transactions that you have to look through and declare, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but really interesting one there. Let me just check the comments here. Appreciate, man. Looking great. Thank you. Can you please explain collateral stuff with Eternal Wallet more in detail? I'll try and explain this one. So collateral is set in the wallet to protect your wallet from a rogue UTXO transaction. That's the way I understand it. I did a video about this a long time ago, and I can't remember the definition that was given, but essentially it's there to if the transaction goes out of control, it doesn't perform as it should. Instead of all of your assets moving out there, you just lose that collateral. So it's like an extra UTXO that's just on the side that is used as part of it, just in case something disastrous happens. That's why it's locked there. But with the newer versions of the smart contract, collateral isn't needed, so that problem was addressed. So if the DEXs or whatever marketplaces upgrade their contracts to Plutus V2, I think it's Plutus V2, the newer version, you don't need to worry about the collateral, but it's just a legacy thing now. We'll probably see it for a few more years until all these various smart contracts are upgraded. A little bit off topic here, guys, but that's okay. Ron here. Bob Builder. Okay, Runcoin was stealth launched today. I understand slippage is an issue if your order is out of the range. However, it seems during the Rooster or Sneck, the chain load has reached 90s level. Maybe I can't remember. If it's reaching 90% of the load, it's purely the amount of people that are just jumping in at the moment. If they're all using, if the blocks are maxed out, like I did see, like the max, the block was like completely 100% maxed out at some point. It's just the amount of people. So the only other thing that you can do there is, sidechain scaling, move things off to Milcometer, maybe increase the block size. That's it. Like we're already using. MintSwap will need to eventually upgrade their smart contracts to Aiken or to Vassal, or those, and take advantage of reference scripts, for example. That will decrease the size of their transactions so that more of their transactions can actually fit in a block. So that will happen at some point in time. I do know that they're working on upgrading some, not upgrading, but writing some new parts of their decks with Aiken. So I'm guessing they'll go back and actually do some of their extra stuff with or their original liquidity pool stuff in Aiken as well. The problem is when you upgrade your scripts, you also have to migrate the liquidity from one pool to another. So the amount of pools that they have at the moment, I don't know how many they have. App.minswap. So they're going to have a lot of pools. And if you upgrade your scripts, that means you have to upgrade and migrate liquidity as well. So I don't know. There's lots there. So these may all be using, V1 of smart contracts. And if they upgrade them all to V2, you're going to have to migrate the liquidity. So that's an absolute nightmare for the users. And you're going to have liquidity all over the place. So at the moment, this one here, it's got a TVL of 66 million. And you're now asking all these people to move. You're going to have a period of time where it's going to be two pools, one on V1, one on V2. Now, they did a really good migration of their farms from V1 to V2 at a particular point in time. I can't see the V1s anymore, but there was a time when you had a migration as well and migrated the liquidity over. So at some point in the future, they'll have to go through that process and allow for that. But, they are optimizing things, in the multiple harvest thing here where they can harvest rewards from up to 5 pools at a time. Little optimizations like that really help with the chain load. Okay, Bob, will there be an increase in block size or other short solutions? I don't think there'll be an increase in block size, because once you increase the block size, it affects things in all these different ways. So when you increase the block size, the block's bigger, so it takes longer to send to different nodes. So you slow down that propagation time a little bit. So the propagation time to get out is like 0.3 seconds at the moment. That's nice. Let's keep it at that. Increasing the block time will increase that propagation time just that little bit. So we do want it under a second. Half a second's great. So let's keep it like that. And once you increase the block size, you can't go back, because there'll be transactions that are stuck in that increased block size and you can't revert back. Other short solutions, not that I know of. Not that I know of. There's all this talk about the sidechain scaling, Hydra, and all that stuff, but it's long term. You have to build the solutions and everything around it, so it's going to take time. So Janha, sorry if I'm butchering your name. Is there a way we can, as a Cardano community, to fight against false allegations on Cardano as a security? Yes. Pretty sure there is. This is damaging our brand due to the SEC carelessness regarding crypto. And with that, let's move on to the crypto side of things, the SEC side of things. Nice. Thank you for keeping me on track. I've only got an hour for this, so I've got still quite a bit to go through. So Gary Gensler, if you didn't hear, 13 charges were, through 13 charges, we allege Zhao and Binance entities for engaging in an extensive web of deception, conflict of interest, and lack of disclosure, and calculated evasion of the law. So this is their press release that came out. I'm sure you guys have had time to read this. Now, I'm not a legal expert, especially in the US law when it comes to all this stuff, but I do know all the cryptocurrencies that are listed need to pass the Howey test for them to be able to actually list them, trade them, and provide staking rewards or whatever it is. So let's go through these tabs. Let's go back one actually. Now, I should have had this one open here. This is the press release that was released out. Now, this thing here, this is I can't believe that a compliance officer would actually say something on the lines of this. So they've got that quote from somewhere. The internet is, fully recorded. It's archived everywhere. People can see this stuff. So I don't know where that came from. But if you want to read through all this stuff and the legal documentation, it is quite long. There's other YouTubers that have covered this in depth. So Cardano with Paul did a video about it. I'll put a link in the show notes if you're watching it later. Army with the Spies also broke this down quite deeply as well. So I'll probably watch his video if you want a really good detailed breakdown about the filing against Binance and Coinbase. Coinbase. Because he's in the US, it affects him directly, so he knows exactly what's going on. So there's a lot of backlash from this. I think this is, I think Charles put it out nicely. This is like a watershed moment where the entire crypto community can actually band together and set a standard and fight against the SEC. So this isn't a moment where it's just, Bitcoin versus Cardano or Ethereum versus Cardano. This is, the cryptocurrency, the entire ecosystem versus the SEC at the moment. And this is definitely a moment that we can take advantage of, band together resources and efforts and actually push things forward and put together a standard regulatory environment in the United States so that they have a way to actually understand and work with cryptocurrencies rather than pushing it out and out of the United States and losing all of that, all those jobs, all that knowledge, all those resources from the US and putting them behind in terms of development in blockchain. It'd be really sad to see if that happens. But, they have probably they attacked Kraken first and other exchanges, and now they're going for the big boys here. So they've done their warm up, and now they're going for the SEC. The SEC is going for Binance. So I love this comment here. I'm predicting that the SEC will regret they filed the lawsuits. CZ has seen this coming for years, and I totally agree. They've been like skirting around because there is no definition of how they should be operating. They've been skirting around the edges and to try and get the crypto space, really, really pushed and grow. And hence they knew this was coming. At some point, the SEC will come for them, and they're ready and they're prepared for it. They've done everything they can. Same with Coinbase. They've tried to work with the SEC deeply to try and get a market in place, appearing in front of congressional hearings and everything around that, to only have this slap in the face afterwards. So now this is the thing that people are worried about and why the markets tank so deeply. It's because a part of the filing mentions various cryptocurrencies that they see as securities. So here we got Solana, ADA, Matic, FIL, Atom, Sand, Mana, Algos, AXS, and Coty. Collectively, the crypto assets securities. So they see this as securities. Are they doing their research properly? Probably not. From various comments in the Twitter sphere, it seems like they're just pulling things out of thin air and just hoping for the best. But it's not a specific attack on these projects at the moment. So let's make this clear again. The SEC claimed that ADA is and other cryptocurrencies are securities. Nothing is confirmed yet. So they're just claiming it. They're just saying that these are securities so that they can attack Binance and Coinbase. So that's their argument at the moment. So now when they go to court, they have to prove that these are all securities and that prove that Binance are acting as a broker and selling these securities unregistered. So that's the point we're at the moment. It's going to take a while for this to happen, and Binance is going to fight. They're going to fight big time. This is a statement from Frederick Gregard. So the Cardano Foundation disagrees with the recent qualifications of ADA as a security under US law. We look forward to continuing engagement with the regulators and policymakers to achieve legal clarity and certainty on these matters. Yes, I'm looking forward to that as well, especially in the US where the dominant market is. This is the article that was referenced as well. If you haven't seen it, links down below for you, coming really soon. Now, this is an interesting aspect from Rick, and he makes a really good point here. So there are 3 entities responsible for Cardano. Well, not quite. So Cardano Foundation is one. Yep. IOG, IHK is one as well. I don't know about this Woods bloke, if he's still around. I've forgotten his first name. I did read it before. And then finally, the last one, Emergo, the entity with New York and California offices that, according to the website, are central for the profit arm of Cardano. Fortunately for us, Emergo hasn't done anything recently. Sorry, Emergo, that was a slight jab at you guys, but you know, if you're not doing much for the profitability of the chain, that's totally cool, because it works in favor here. But you know, the thousands of stake pool operators, the thriving ecosystem is what makes the chain popular and interesting, and where people are finding value from it. You can't see from this image. Can I open a new tab? Can I zoom in? Yes, I can. There we go. So can I zoom in any further? So this is just like a little snippet of the Cardano ecosystem. A lot of these are NFT games, 3D art, originals. I don't know what that is. Charity aspects to it, you know, hand-drawn art. There's lots to it, and that's just most of that is just NFT side of things. But you know, this is a thriving ecosystem that isn't all powered because of these 3 founding entities around Cardano. It's so much more to it, and you know, that decentralization of Cardano is really, really key and important at the moment. So who protects you more, SEC or Binance? I haven't voted on this one yet. Leave a comment, and I'll come back to this and do my vote based on what you guys say. SEC or Binance? Send the messages now. I have my suspicions. Oh, hang on. Only 8 minutes left. Ah. Really? Hang on. Let me refresh that. All right, well, I got to Binance now. I got to vote. There we go. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think. This is from Paul. I didn't realize until I just went live that, yeah, the SEC is going for Coinbase as well. So I just mentioned it in there too. It would be really interesting to see how these 2 companies join up and fight. But like I was saying, governance is so important. And I really think Charles saw this coming, and hence why this massive push for SIP 1694 earlier this year. It's about decentralizing the network. We do have to enter that Voltaire era at some point in time, so why not now? And decentralize the Cardano ecosystem before we're forced to. So we're making progress for there so that we can take over the chain. We can control the future of Cardano itself. So that's what we're looking for, and how we're trying to push for it overall. It's really interesting that the SEC, when they're putting out the case here, they didn't mention, I can't see where it is now. I had it open. They don't mention BTC or ETH in their filings as securities. BTC, yeah, sure, it's very well decentralized. ETH, come on. ETH, you have to give up your Ethereum, you have to give up your ETH tokens to some of these staking providers, lock them up, let them manage it. It's non-custodial. It's basically, I give my money to a bank for them to invest it and do something with it. And that's essentially the security aspect of it. But here, far out, it's I'm really surprised they didn't mention it. I've heard, I haven't been following what's happening with XRP, Ripple, etc. But anyway, I'm just going to scoff at that. There's more images from all these particular workshops around the world. Unfortunately, like I said, we didn't get to organize one here in Australia. I'm pretty stretched thin as it is. So I didn't get time to organize anything here. There was a little bit of lack of interest as well. Sorry. I guess Australians just don't find voting interesting. We've got a really good voting system here. Just rock up and vote. it works. All right, let's get back to the comments here. Mark, yep, find real projects and hold on. I agree. That's the only way. If AI is gonna get you, if the bots are gonna get you, automation's gonna get you, just buy and wait. It's probably anything that's gonna work. Vic, what's your favorite Cardano wallet? Interesting question. It's Nami. Nami at the moment is still my favorite. There's issues every once in a while, but at the moment it's by far my favorite wallet. All the extra stuff that you see in Eternal, I don't really use. It's like it's there. I've got the same wallet like set up in Eternal and Nami and Lace and Typhon. I think that's all the ones I use. But I just come back to Nami and just use that. It's totally fine for what I want, and the fact that I can connect it to an external submit API on my Cardano node or onto Daedalus is just a little bit of an added extra. So I like it. I still use Nami. Next question here. I personally use my collateralized IUSD to stake in Indigo's stability pools. Yeah, no impermanent loss, present risk in other yields, just consistent 40 to 50 APRs. I also stake Indy. That's 3 yields. Nice. I had no idea Indy stability pools had 40 to 50% APR. Indigo. I should play around with Indy a little bit more. Well, once I get this course done, part of like doing an online course for these protocols is I get to do the deep research. I get to understand like how they all work, and what how to work their platforms and how to take advantage of their platforms. So here, okay, cool. That's nice APRs. Just depends on the price movement as well. Like if the APRs are high and they're releasing their tokens into the ecosystem, but their price is tanking, what's the point? It's kind of like what MinSwap's price was doing. So let me just go back to MinSwap. Now, I love the decks and stuff, and it's really nice, and the ecosystem's cool. But if you're trading, if you're collecting min rewards for providing liquidity and whatnot, but the price keeps tanking overall, then what's the point? But they've got that whole buyback system now where some of the fees are being used to buy into the treasury, which has made a huge difference. So let me go 1 year. Yeah, okay. So this is when they kicked in that buyback system. So if you're collecting rewards all through here, then suddenly that buyback system came back in, and the token price goes up and pretty much up, way up compared to where it was. So that's the only way that I can see something like this working really well. But let's see how Indy is working, how Indy is performing, I should say. Let's go 1 year. Okay, that's would have been launched. Normal movement. I don't know the token release schedule or anything like that, but yeah, okay, all right. It's performing in a very similar way. I should really look into Indigo a little bit more and get playing with it a bit. Okay, thanks LM10DXZ for that little tip there. I'll be looking into that a little bit more. You also say here, I think Indigo has the most secure yields in Cardano. It's easy to not get liquidated on your IUSD collateralized debt position. Just over collateralize ADA, you still get staking rewards, then stake your Indy tokens. Cool. Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. I'll look into it. I think over collateralized positions with your IUSD is good way of doing it. Plus the price of ADA at the moment is quite low, so can it go lower? Maybe it can, but most likely maybe it won't. I don't know. But the idea is that if you're at the bottom of the bottom and you don't expect to go any more, then the only way is to go up, and your collateralized debt position is pretty much protected. But if it drops like another 50%, as long as you're over collateralized, you won't get liquidated. So totally get you there. Vic, you think Coinbase will win the lawsuit against the SEC? I don't know. I just hope. I really hope they do. I don't know if they will, but maybe they will. If they combine efforts with Binance and other ecosystem players, that'd be great. Will they settle like Kraken did? I don't think so. I don't think so. Like Coinbase do extreme measures when they're putting out tokens and listing tokens. They go through all the deep vetting processes to make sure they're not listing anything that is possibly linked or thought to be a security. It's a constant message that they always put out. So the fact that they would lose this case with that much scrutiny and compliance with regulators as it is, and trying to engage with regulators, I'll be extremely surprised. Feel like a class action lawsuit would have been nice or more impactful. Maybe. Well, a lot of comments today, guys. Thanks for this. It's always cool to actually have a little bit more of an engaging conversation with you all. Let's see here. Darcia, send Charles in there with a whiteboard to battle the SEC final boss. That's hilarious. I think he'll probably bamboozle them with technical terms and leave them more confused than before. Sanjahan, Binance is the one for the world, not just the US. I completely agree. They're fighting for crypto for the world. Robert, do you think ADA will fall in price, and how much could it fall? It could, Robert. I am a terrible price prediction person, trade analysis TA person. It probably could. If it, there's so many market factors. There could be another COVID. There could be another. Apparently on YouTube, I can't say that word. Another mass global disease. Another war. World War III could break out. Whatever it is, and when that happens, market's going to dump. All markets dump. You can't predict that kind of stuff. So can it fall? Yeah, it probably could fall. Will it go up? Maybe it will go up. I don't know. Loki Doki. My take, Gary is the alter ego of the president. He's the only one who can fire him. Why is he holding him? Not good come election. Yeah, you could be right there. You could be right. I do see a lot of these tweets that are coming out where people are saying, I'm going to be a single issue voter. I can't remember where I put it now here. Time for Americans to become single issue voters again. Maybe. So if you guys are all voting on the lines for your representative that will represent cryptocurrencies in a way that will actually work and improve the ecosystem, that will probably happen. So this one here is from Hosky. It's time for Americans to be single issue voters again. And that's probably where the market might go. Probably where your elections might go. Or if it doesn't, then all these crypto projects will go over to Asia, will go over to Europe, will go to Australia even, where we have a friendlier crypto environment, where we're looking for this type of investment, looking for these smart people to actually come to our country and work here instead. So, if you get kicked out of the United States, there's many other parts of the world. Unfortunately, the whole population of the US won't be able to participate in crypto. The moose is loose. No idea what up to their crypto moose. That's not the stability pool. Yes, I realized that wasn't the stability pool that I was looking at. I just couldn't find it. But this is just the staking pool for Indigo. There it is, stability pool. Thank you for pointing that out. Yep, nice APRs. Definitely nice APRs for providing liquidity in those synthetic assets. Thoughts on ISPOs for DEGA coming soon? First multi-chain ISPO. Yes, I mentioned this one last week. I thought it was pretty interesting. Meld doing the ISPO with DEGA. I love the ISPO model. I think ISPOs are fantastic. It's a really low risk. It's non-custodial as well. So you always have your assets held and you can earn these extra assets. You just give up a little bit of your staking rewards. So it's a good method for it. Will it be good for the ecosystem for DEGA? Probably, yeah. Meld has a really good reputation behind their staking. The Meld token itself has done quite well from its launch. Its price dipping down, but now coming back up again, etc. So it's a good method. And if you've got a good team and everything behind it, and you're providing multi-chain, multi-ecosystem staking, it's pretty cool. New innovations. Now with that, I do have some news with Meld. So we're moving on from the SEC. You can keep talking about it. I'll get back to it in the chat. But the Meld team have launched their bank managers. So their bank manager NFTs, you can now start minting from the Freeloaders platform. So Meld freeloaders.io/bank-manager. Now, I had problems connecting to this, and this is because I was behind a VPN. So they do have some protection mechanisms there. I think they're probably using Cloudflare or something. But if you're connecting to the website and you're getting a 403 error, forbidden error message, it's probably because you're using a VPN. So you have to disconnect your VPN. I thought it might have been the issue, and go through and mint. So if you're part of the ISPO, you can mint the particular NFT. The NFT does have a couple of traits that will increase and boost your yield in particular staking mechanisms or something. I haven't looked deeply into it, but they are online now. You can get through to it, all minting through freeloaders. And from what I saw, the general minting experience has been smooth and has been quite nice. There's quite a few out there now. The traits and stuff that are coming through are a little bit confusing. So please be aware of what you're buying and what you're trading if you're trading and flipping the NFTs. So there was one complaint where it looked like it was a gold bank manager, whereas it wasn't, and they sold it for like 10,000, and the next person bought it and realized it wasn't worth that much. So be aware of that. Check the traits properly. So here is a video from DApp Central as well. So if you want to learn about the process of how to go through it and actually mint yours, you can go through there and have a quick look. Now this one here, we've had some good news about Meld. Now this one's a little bit interesting. So they did a partnership with Tingo. So Tingo's, I think it's Nigerian based. They've got offices in the US, but it's Tingo International Holdings, TIH, is an ethical investment company dedicated to meeting the needs of financial consumers and businesses by delivering financial technology through telecommunications, agri-tech, agriculture technology services in Africa. So this was quite the Helping Africa kind of initiative, and it seemed like a really good partnership, a very good partnership indeed. Helping various countries improve their agriculture and export markets, etc. It's quite important. Unfortunate thing. So this was posted on the 26th of April. Unfortunately, on the 6th of June, Hindenburg Research put this out. Tingo Group, fake farmers, phones, and financials. So this is the same Tingo Group. Is it Tingo Group Incorporated? Let me just check that. Tingo International Holdings. Is this the same company? Is it the same company? But the fact that they do similar things, is it the same thing or not? I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't look good when that kind of news comes out. So Hindenburg Research is one of those companies that do a lot of deep research into various stocks, various companies, and try and find reasons to short them. So they find irregularities in various companies. I think they did that big piece on that electric truck, Nikola trucks, and they realized it was essentially a fake scam company. There was no electric truck. It was just rolling down a hill and looked kind of nice. I believe it was them that did the piece on them. But of course, they shorted their company, put out the report, and of course, the company was destroyed afterwards, and they took away massive amounts of profits. So that's their MO. That's how they operate. And this Tingo Group thing coming out after this Tingo partnership doesn't look very good. Now, I do not know if it's the same company or not, just by reading this bit here, Tingo International Holdings, and here, Tingo Group Incorporated. Is it the same thing? Not entirely sure. If anyone out there knows a little bit better than I do, please let me know. But it sounds like a very similar company. The other thing that Meld have put out recently is their white paper, their new version of their white paper, May 30th. I didn't realize this one came out, but this is version 2 of their white paper. I haven't had a chance to go through it all deeply yet, but it's good to get an update of this. There's so much that has changed with the project and protocol in general. It's good to see where they are fitting into the crypto space now, especially since they're going multi-chain and broadening their horizons, not just in the Cardano ecosystem. There is that issue where they can't launch on Cardano at the moment. Will we ever see a Cardano version of Meld? I don't know, but you know, onwards and upwards. Now, the other DEX DeFi news in the Cardano ecosystem. Now, I'm deeply passionate about Genius Yield and what they have to offer, and their roadmap has been pushed back a little bit this year. They did do an update of their roadmap, and you can see that in their one of their latest posts. But here, they've done, how come I lost that? They've done the launch of their second ISPO drop. So they had a vesting period. 50% was at the beginning of the year. 50% of it now. So if you're staked in their ecosystem, you would have seen another big dumping of tokens into your wallet. Now, along with extra tokens in the ecosystem, you should have seen dumping of tokens on the markets. Now, if you're watching early, you would have known that that vesting period was coming up, and you probably would have sold your tokens that you're holding before. So I'm assuming this is around when it happened, May 30th. Yeah, big dump there. Let me just check. This so 2nd of June. Let's zoom in and check those dates. See if I'm right. So yeah, this is probably on the 31st, 1st of June, 31st, and people realizing that this vesting schedule is coming, and they would have sold. So that there is a big sell order there. Let me go pro so I can actually zoom in a little bit better. Coffee's cold. There we go. Look at that trading volume there on that day. That was actually on the day on the 2nd. So we got some people that were smart, selling off on the 1st, if they could sell, that is. You have to find a buyer. And then more people on the 2nd here, 2nd and 3rd. So people buying and selling, mostly selling, and then the price stabilizes a little bit after that. Not much though, people are still trying to sell. So yeah, if I was a bit smarter and watching the markets, I would have dumped it a lot earlier. How's this been? Let's go day. No point of staring at hundreds of candles. Now, I think you can still see my screen. You know, when it initially launched, it would have been really nice to sell up here and then just wait for this second vesting period and buy back in. Price hasn't changed that much, really. That's all good. Anyway, smart people would have sold early, I think. All right, other stuff here. This is a little bit more news, and then I'll get back to the chat here as well. So we're excited to unveil the updated roadmap for 2023 for ADAHandles. These guys are doing some pretty cool stuff. So here, if you haven't heard, they're shipping personalization. So they're going to allow you to personalize your ADAHandle. So your ADAHandle is, just your name on a gray screen at the moment, gray background. But now they're going to let you customize that with different layers, make it look really cool. There's a whole upgrade process that you have to do to upgrade your current ADAHandle to this, but it's just a part of the process. Then they're going to begin build out a personalization marketplace. Okay, begin build out of sub handles protocol. So we've heard mentions of that last year, so that's going to come out soon. R&D of handle DIDs through personalization. So that's a really big thing, like the digital identities. Using ADAHandle, so referencing or KYC through that process. So your ADAHandle is actually an identity that you can use on blockchain. So that'd be really cool if they pull that off. They've got like the gimmicky and fun side of things, and now they're taking the project a little bit more seriously. Q3, shipping sub-handle protocol, shipping personalization markets, R&D on handle domains through personalization. Domains, cool. Build out minting endpoints for handles and sub-handles. So that way me as an operator, I can start building on top of their protocol. That's pretty cool. Then begin build out of P2P renting. So renting ADAHandles, really? Cool. All right. Begin decentralization of handle minting crate. So it's quite a roadmap that these guys have put out. Handles are still minting all the time. I think I minted the last two for, I think it was 90 ADA each. I minted it for my team. I kept on asking them for their wallet addresses. So I just got sick of it. So I minted them handles. Just so much easier. It has been a really, really cool feature in the Cardano ecosystem to have ADAHandles. So it's unfortunate it wasn't just a part of the Cardano protocol. It could have been, and just could have been a SIP standard, and anyone could have had it, and it's just part of Cardano. But it's companies like this take advantage of these type of opportunities, and congrats to them. They've built out a fantastic platform and user experience. Hosky token, looks like we're dropping the C. Yes, so no more CNFT.io. This, for those that don't know, if you're only getting to the crypto space or Cardano space recently, CNFT.io was the pioneering NFT marketplace in the Cardano ecosystem. So they had the most traffic volume. They were the only one that were being used. They were the only one that could actually provide NFT trading. They did it in a very interesting way because it was all done without smart contracts before the smart contract era. Unfortunately, they weren't able to innovate and build things for the community that they wanted, that the community wanted. They stuck with how things were done. And unfortunately, other marketplaces took over. So, market dominance isn't forever. You have to continuously innovate. You have to work and engage with the community and build what they want. So if you have anything on CNFT.io, you need to delist it. I think I do have some NFTs on there. They've been sitting there for a long time, obviously not selling, so I will have to remove that off. What about my 100K CNFT tokens? Ooh, ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Yes, they did do a token sale at the very beginning, and that's all gone now, I guess. That's worth nothing. Project gone. Well, if no one's using the service, your token's probably worth nothing nothing at the moment anyway. So closing it off, ouch. Let me know if you guys are affected. We've got a couple more here, and then I'll go back to the comments. So Metera. So if you want to ask a question, ask it now. Delays, the chat will appear in a moment. There's 800 NFTs allocated for the pre-sale. Each eligible person will be able to mint up to 9 NFTs in one round. So Metera are building a decentralized portfolio protocol where you can buy baskets of tokens, and they're taking the sustainability approach and doing an ESG index not index, but ESG indicators on their various portfolios. So you can buy into particular portfolios based on their ratings and how they're marked in their ecosystem. So it's a different approach, really interesting. It is, they're trying to raise roughly, I think it was $120,000 to take it to the next point. I did an interview with Daniel a little bit earlier today, actually. We're talking about where the project's up to. So just a quick recap for you. They've put out a demo of their UI and their interface, so you can see and visually see how it all works. They've got the smart contracts in the background, but they do have to upgrade that and tweak some things to make the experience a lot easier. So if you're buying a portfolio of 10 tokens, like top 10 traded tokens in the Cardano ecosystem, you would need to provide each one of those tokens into portfolio if you're providing liquidity. And if you only have ADA, and that's the only token, you have to buy each one of those tokens and provide liquidity. So it's a bit of a weird user experience. So they're trying to do a zapping feature that will, you provide ADA and you get all those tokens in the back end. So they're eventually going to get to that point. So fingers crossed they can, but that's what they have to try and do to create that kind of really unique and good user experience. They'll get there, but they're hoping to launch at the end of the year. That was it. So these extra tabs were purely just what I had pulled up earlier. So that was my last shout out. So again, first off, thank you for all of the people that have been members of the channel. You are on live stream there, Martina.
Oh, okay, I'm off. Bye.
Okay. Thank you again for that. And let me just check the comments down here. Okay, where are we? Hutang, among other claimed SEC is claiming ADA investors are expecting profits from other projects utilizing the Cardano's blockchain. Yeah, okay. I think... And I don't know if if it directly is supposed to be ADA investors to the original founding entities. So if you're buying ADA and you're expecting profits based on the works and efforts of IOG, Amerigo, and the Cardano Foundation, then I think that's where the issue is. But other people that enter the ecosystem and build on top of it, I don't think that's a part of that Howey test. I think. Sanjahan, the whole crypto world is expecting profits. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. The whole point of people getting into crypto is that we're here to get rich quick. It's a way to make money. We trade, we buy, sell, trade, whatever it is, and we make profits of that. So it's yeah, I totally agree with you. People get into crypto because they hear about someone getting rich off of it, and now they're driving around their Lambo and they think, well, I can do that. I can buy some meme coin and NFT and get rich, right? So that's the whole point. But you know, people then stay for community and all these other aspects, or so they say. DACR, well, let us know when you finish that VyFi course and explain their L1, L2 pools, because that seems interesting, but my brain hurts when I try to see it work. Yeah, well, I've actually done videos on this because I work for Blue Shift, for those that don't know, and they actually have a liquidity pool tokens, which are L2 tokens, and you can stake it on their platform and provide liquidity, buy it directly. So I'll just pull it up real quick, app.vyfi, and I'll try and explain it as quickly as possible. I'm going way over time. So my partner's gone off to pick up my daughter. So as soon as my daughter walks through the door, this live stream ends, because there's no way I can do a live stream when she's screaming and shouting. All right, where was I? So I'll switch back screens here. So this is VyFinance here, and we've got all these liquidity pools here. Got the ADA VyFi, so that's the standard token pair that you usually see. But then we see some other ones here, such as ADA VyFi LP. So what they're doing here is they're using the LP token. So when you provide liquidity for this particular farm here, ADA VyFi, you get liquidity pool tokens from it. And that is called the ADA VyFi LP. Now, that's a native token in Cardano. And you can use that token and provide liquidity to it in another trading pair. So now you can provide that liquidity with an ADA pair, so ADA and ADA VyFi LP, to this particular pool. Then other people, when they're coming in, they can buy that LP token directly, as opposed to going back up here and providing ADA and VyFi and then getting an LP token. They can just provide ADA and just buy it directly. So that's the difference there. And there's a lot more of that coming into play. So we got there's another pool here, or was there another pool? This might be a different fee. But that's the same one. And we've got ADA, World Mobile Token LP, and we've got more and more of these coming through. They also have their staking vaults as well. So now you can have NFT token and LP staking. So we're seeing some LP token staking here. So this is a really good mechanism where they can get a little bit more community locking in LP tokens. So you've got your, this is actually really smart, actually. So you've got your LP tokens for ADA VyFi. You've got that staked in there, and you're earning your ADA, your farming rewards. But then you can take that and lock it into a vault here. So now you're earning your staking rewards, and then also your extra APR here on this particular vault here. So it's trying to compound those extra amounts of liquidity rewards that you might be getting. Hopefully that didn't do your head in, but it's really interesting what they're doing there and coming up with some new interesting ideas to make the whole DeFi space that little bit more interesting. Whoops, went too far. Scrolled too far, scrolled way too far. Here we go. Costa Doc, love your work, mate. Cheers from Melbourne. Good old cold Melbourne. Did you know that Melbourne's top high temperature is lower than the Gold Coast's minimum? Just rub it in there a little bit. Sorry, Costa. Crypto Moose, thoughts on the ISPO? Oh, hang on, no, I've done that one. Chris, I've already done my thoughts on DEGA ISPO. Tinjabana, good morning. Just missed your stream starting from the beginning. Now, have a nice day. Thank you for being here. Gaiki, there's more ways to influence your politicians than just voting. Yeah, you can lobby them. If you got a bit of money, then you say, hey, I'll give you some money for your campaign, but you got to say this and this and this and this. Or you can dig up dirt on them. Politics is such an interesting field. I would never, ever want to be a politician. Crypto Moose, what would be your top 3 investments and why? No idea. And I don't want to comment on that because I don't want to give anyone financial advice. Crypto Moose, yes, 403 error is VPN. Yep, cool. Love my bank manager NFT. Yeah, cool. I still yet to mint mine. Vic, I made some money on Nikola stocks. Good on you. Oscar Escobindo, you're one of the channel members here. Have you converted your Meld tokens yet to the new Meld tokens? If so, isn't this considered a taxable event since we are swapping from one token to another? You might be right there because we have to swap it from something. But, the taxable event, you're swapping the same value for the same value. Is there any tax on that? Don't know. No, I haven't yet as well because you have to go through the full KYC process. I am extremely lazy when it comes to those KYC processes. I can't be bothered doing them. I really can't be bothered. Maybe I will. I'll see how much Meld tokens I have. Maybe I'll just sell them or then I'll just rebuy them. That might be easier. That's taxable events there. Vic, the only safe token is ADA and Hosky token. You might be right. I don't know. DICR, thanks for VyFi breakdown. Good luck with the little one when she gets home. Cheers, the stream. Glad I caught this one. Hey, no problem, DA. Thank you for being here as well. Time for a dad joke? Yeah, yeah, probably is. I'll pull one up. Don't have many on hand. APR aside, this is from LM10. You've been talking about the India a lot. APRs aside, Indigo is the one of the 2 CDP protocols on Cardano, the only other synthetic protocol where you can take out interest-free loans via collateral. Indy is a no-brainer in my honest opinion. Can't agree with that. Now, the live stream, I will have to end pretty soon, but thank you everyone for joining in on this. It's been really cool having you guys all here. It's always better to have this like interactive conversations. It's a lot more interesting. Mr. Silzia, Meld to Meld should be taxable as there will be a difference between the price when you first got them and now. I really don't know. I really don't know this particular one. Would have been much easier if you airdropped them and then just nuked the value of the Meld tokens. That would have been nice. But unfortunately, no, that's not the case. I really don't know how that one's going to be handled. Now, I can see this chat bubble come up in the corner, but I really can't see the text in it. It's really annoying. Anyway, let's have a look here. Some dad jokes for us. I don't trust stairs. They're always up to something. I ruined the delivery. RIP boiling water, or rest in peace boiling water. They will be missed. Get it? 2 guys walked into a bar. The third guy ducked. I love that one. That was always one of my go-to jokes when I was a kid. All right. A couple more comments here. Thoughts on AXO, Genius Yield's main competitor, LM10. AXO, well, I don't know if AXO is a competitor to Genius Yield. I see Genius Yield more so a competitor with VyFi. So once the two platforms have their AI parts integrated and delivered, they'll be doing similar things. So the VyFi will be, being a DEX aggregator, will be looking for the best liquidity on any chain. So if you provide them with, 100K worth of US dollars or whatever, they will try and find the best place to put that based on their AI algorithms and provide liquidity for you and then get the rewards for you. It's in their best interest to provide the liquidity in the best place to make the best profits because they take the profits as well. So that's the idea there. And the AI will just move things around. So you put it into the bar, for example, and the liquidity will move around, pointed in different places. AXO, I think, is more so a really, really complex DEX from what I understand. I don't know the AI or anything around those different aspects, but it's more so built for a trading platform. So if you are experienced and really understand how trades work in the centralized exchange world on TradeFi, where you can build algorithms and put in all this logic behind your various trades as you put them in. So, you buy something at point price X when these conditions are met, such as Bollinger Bands are broken, RSI is above 70%, and a moving average is in a positive position, then sell tokens at desired price. So I think AXO is more of a platform where you can do that kind of stuff. I also saw mentions of like copycat trading as well. So if other people are really good at creating these scenarios and trading algorithms, then you can just follow them and follow their trades and compound all your losses together. So, you can do all these like crazy stuff. And I believe AXO, that's where they're going. Genius Yield, they've got their liquidity smart routing. I can't remember what it's called, but they're looking for the best places to place your liquidity in various different trades. So that way you can earn the most yields and most rewards around it. So their AI works around like that. Hope Not Hype podcast. Thanks, Pete. Did you end up watching Charles' whiteboard video? No, I have not. No, and I have not watched any of Charles' latest videos either around the SEC and why we're fighting and all that stuff. I've seen like the first few seconds, and then I've got to do something else. So life gets in the way. I'm still got my boxing match coming up on the 16th, so I'm fighting hard for that. Just how many hours training today? Only 1.5 today, so light training today. Yesterday was about 2.5 hours, I think. Still got to do my push-ups. Still haven't finished them off today. So if you haven't heard, I'm doing this push-up challenge, push for better. Highly encourage you guys to jump on this one as well. Let me just pull this up for you so you can see what I'm talking about as well. This is the challenge here, push for better. Whoa, wow, okay. They started to raise quite a bit of money for that already, but there is a Cardano community one here. I don't know how to get to the teams page. Here we go, Cardano community push-up challenge. CWIRPC, hello from Slovenia. Oh, Slovenia, nice. We do have a team push-up challenge going on here. Oh, wow, look, people are making money. People are getting donations. Is this right? Yep. The team is currently ranked 1,001 out of all the teams. Okay, all right, cool. So I don't think that's us. Maybe we're not there yet. Yep, you got to do push-ups, guys. But you can still join the team and you can still catch up with some of these push-ups. Some of these push-ups, today was like 200 and something push-ups. It sounds really bad and really hard, but it's not really. Over like a 30-minute period or 40-minute period, you do 10 push-ups every other minute and you can get through it quite easily. So I really encourage you guys. It's all around mental health. We're raising funds for it as well. So if you want to join in, please join in. It's a really good cause. But anyway, let's end the stream there. I'm going to have a crazy little 4-year-old run into the house at any moment. But again, thank you guys for joining me on the live stream. Thank you for being channel members. Thank you for being subscribers. Make sure you give me that like, thumbs up, click the notification bell on your way out as well. And I'll see you in the next stream. Thank you.